Let's dig into these issues and more with and America First Policy Institute President Brooke Rollins. Welcome to you both. Leslie, I want to start with you and put some of these polls. We'll put them in rapid fire so we don't beat it to death here. The overall approval rating, 38%. You see that? That's the approval. Disapproval, 53%. You move on to Biden's handling of the economy, the approval at 39%. And then you come to Biden handling of immigration, 25%, 67% disapproval. I mean, Leslie, you can't get these days 67% of the population to agree the sun sets in the West, much less 67% against Joe Biden. Your thoughts on these numbers?
It's one poll. Quinnipiac Ipsos shows him up 5 points to 48% from last week at 43%. Real Clear Politics shows an average, which, as you know, they take a lot of different polls and they have that average. Doesn't show that number. Trace, look, I'm a Democrat and I would be worried if I saw poll after poll after poll showing these types of numbers, but I just am not seeing that. I am seeing that with this one poll. If I saw more polls like this, of course, the numbers would be a concern. That's not what I'm seeing. And in addition to that, if you look at the numbers for the midterm elections, like if the election were held today, Democrats actually right now for midterms have a 2-point advantage, again, according to Real Clear Politics, which doesn't look at one poll, but rather averages all of the polls that are out there.
It's a hard sell, Leslie. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and different polls have different numbers, but it really is, things have not gone well for the administration. You come out and you say you can spin these polls any way, like you say, 1,000 different ways. But Brooke, I mean, isn't the remedy here to say, you know what, we need to fix this instead of trying to figure out which polls are good and which polls are bad? People clearly are not happy with what they're seeing, and this needs to be fixed.
Well, that's right. And it's not like the Quinnipiac poll is, the standard bearer of the right? That's a left-leaning poll. And 38% approval is pretty astonishing. But here's what I think is very encouraging. I think that the American people are so smart. They realize that open borders, critical race theory, defunding the police, complete deconstruction of the American economy, the re-regulation, the gas prices, the inflation, this is not what they signed up for. And even those that voted for Joe Biden, which, I was in the Trump White House. I was his domestic policy chief. So clearly I am very biased towards freedom, towards deregulation, towards opportunity. But for those that voted for Joe Biden and now see how he is governing and what is happening, if in fact he is governing, I think they want to change. And I think they know this can't continue if we want to keep our country.
Brooke, you talked about the economy. I want to play this soundbite from President Biden talking about the economy. Watch.
The economy is growing leaps and bounds. 6%, the fastest growing major economy in the world. In fact, increased vaccination coverage results in as many as 5 million American workers going back to work because they feel safe they can go back to work.
I mean, Leslie, we just talked about this with Kevin Corke, and I just looked out the window there, 5 minutes ago. Gas in the Chevron thing is $5 a gallon. You know it, Leslie. Gas is, people see these numbers. They see that hot dogs are $7 a pack now. I mean, people get it. They see it. And so the president can talk a lot about this. But boy, the numbers tell an entirely different story.
Well, they do tell a different story, and they tell. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Leslie. Go ahead, Leslie.
I think that the voters are smart enough to know that whether it's a Democrat or Republican in the White House, the president of the United States doesn't control gas prices. We know that comes on an international scale, usually. We also know that there was a hack to the Colonial Pipeline. And, voters are, smarter than this. The party in power, can get blamed for a lot of things. But, I think voters are smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
And, to earlier points when we hear things like open borders, we've never had open borders in the United States. Maybe we had open borders when we had people invading this country, when Native Americans were the only people here. But no, we don't have open borders.
Looks open to me. They sure look open.
Well, there are 220,000 people have illegally entered this country this last month, and a year ago, it was 4,000. So if you can say with a straight face that we don't have an illegal immigration problem right now, I can't even believe that that's even up for discussion.
I said we don't have open borders. I did not say that. I said
I think most Americans would say 200,000 a month would be open borders.
They appear to be pretty open. Also, the Keystone Pipeline shutting that down. Maybe that boosts something here and there, Leslie. Brooke and Leslie, good conversation. Thank you both. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trace.